Alright, here we go. So here's the rematch. So this was technically LoVe's home map, but LoVe requested to go random map. So interestingly enough, we get a second Mediterranean match in a row. And even Rangers is amused. I find this to be amusing. So anyway, to recapitulate this thing, we have Rangers and Zook once again in the right hand side, and then we've got Apple and Wiseman on the left. Now, positions have been reversed. This time, instead of Zook on Apple's side, it's Wiseman who's on Zook's side. And now we're going to look at Rangers set versus Apple's ISIS on the bottom side of the map. So same thing as last game. Rangers using vision to scout out his fish. And again, he's in remarkably good position, especially if he builds a second knock over here. He's going to have really efficient gathering, and he's just in a really good position here. Zook has okay fish. Wiseman, that's not too bad. No, this is tremendous. It's much like last game, Rangers first fishing. Apple's first fish right here is pretty strong. So again, everybody's executing their normal build orders. So we'll see if this game LoVe can catch up in terms of production. And also, with the slight difference in God matchup here, Isis versus Odin, we'll see if Wiseman can compete differently versus an Isis player as opposed to a set player. Personally, I would not pick Odin against these two strong Egyptian players. I think he would have been better served by playing Zeus or something. But at any rate, here's the second dock. And interesting. Rangers elects to go for a more forward second dock. And by going for that second dock this early, Rangers is already going to have a quick head start in terms of production as compared to Apple, which can prove critical as that difference in production continues moving forward. Apple still hasn't built his second dock, so. However, Apple's going for a very early tempo at 3 minutes. So, is that to imply that he's looking for a quick age up instead of a stronger economy? We'll see. Hmm. Interesting macro. Normally you would have wanted to empower the TC with husbandry to get as much food as possible from that, but no, he decided to split between the granary and the TC. So Ranger's building his temple here at 4 minutes. Zook's about 1/3 into his temple. Wiseman's aging up 25%. So I think he's on pace then to age up right around 5 minutes. Which means again he'll have the earlier age up and the opportunity to rush a little bit. But with only 2 docks, well, 2 versus 3 is not too bad, especially if you can get an early advantage. So we'll see how that gets played. And yeah, as I anticipated, so here's another secondary dock, so that's his third. And finally, Apple gets his second dock, but Rangers is just going to outproduce again. If he has 3 docks over here, a 4, 5, 6, versus 1, 2, maybe 3 if this villager is going to build a third dock. Right. 90% Bast for Apple, 25% Rangers. So Rangers is on pace to age up at about 6 minutes. Now this is interesting right here. Huge advantage for Zucht. If water becomes an issue for him, he can just switch to husbandry and gather a ton of food off of this. Especially if empowered. Zucht's gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 docks versus 2, so he'll double production here. If Rangers can auto queue from say 4, well, it looks like he'll have 7 docks overall as compared to 3. Apple pushes prosperity with pickaxe, 16 villagers right below 6 minutes. Armory's at almost done. So looks like a really accurate fast heroic as ISIS for Apple. And amusingly, Rangers is empowering an unbuilt monument. Now I wonder if there's a bug here where if you empower the foundation you still get your favor. That's going to be an interesting question. That I'm going to research that later. In the meantime, let the water war begin. Looks like the Odin player is going for a fast heroic, which could prove to be intelligent, especially with the Kraken unit with no horde. Interesting. Interesting move. And 75%. I did not see that coming. 60% for Apple. So both members of LoVe will be in heroic momentarily. Looks like they're just going for it at this stage. Almost like an all or nothing thing. Here's the forest fire. Found it. And there we are. Apple's just losing a bunch of fishing ships right here. But there they are. They're both in heroic. Well below 7.5 minutes. So here's their chance. If they can start making superior units like Krakens and Siege to win water, this will put them in a really strong position. Zucht's using prosperity here. Now to counter, MG could very easily just research heroic fleets, which would undermine the strat completely. Except Wise Man is not going for Krakens. And Apple is just going for a forward position here. Which is fine, because now here, map control, if he can get Fortitude TC, that'd be huge. It's just that he'll be vulnerable to get the TC picked off. Looks like they're going to go after Rangers here. Interesting play, to be sure. Okay, Rangers 55%, 65% Zucht. Now the thing is though, LoVe has a superior economy, having basically won water at this stage. So, as time goes on, they'll be in better position, much like last game. And there's the A&E. So he's trying to, looks like he's trying to micro the chariots on the priest. Using the heroes to snipe the mountain giant. So Zook picking up the second TC against the Olden player in the midst of all this. And Zook's building on Ranger's side. I think they realize that here comes the push. We see a whole bunch of siege. So now Zook could just as easily cast Ancestors and Eclipse in defense of Rangers momentarily. So while this is a good push, it wasn't strong enough to be decisive. And here are these two siege ships doing what they do. So there's all these Migdals. You're looking at 3 Migdals right behind Ranger's base. So production will not be an issue. Over here, Azokta's just getting good map control. And here comes the Odin player's push. So with all this population, you talk about that's 12 or no 20 pop, 24 pop being used on water. And there's Walking Woods. Yeah, so yeah, Wise Man's playing a lot better here. Going for the fast heroic, pushing on the Migdal, and I think he's gonna get this Migdal down, no problem. However, bold move with the shifting sands. Where did those units get shifted to? Here. Yeah, shifting a whole bunch of units where these warships could snipe. And there's the A&E. So with the Mercs, a couple priests to counter Walking Woods. That's where we're at. And Apple hasn't been able to push. Alright, so Rangers has picked up his second TC. So while LoVe did heroic earlier and did have an opportunity to push on land, I think that early advantage that they had a few minutes ago has been lost, and now MG is just able to out macro because they have control of water, because they're gathering all this food. And here's the usage of ancestors over here. So elephants are in play, just pushing on the, and now chariots as well, just pushing on this chariot army. And Rangers was just able to flank, run behind the back, and just snipe units over here. And that's pretty much GG, I think, for Apple right here. And now he's gonna... I'm not sure what he's doing right here. Oh, I guess he was just resigning. I see. Well, GG. GG again. So that's 2-0 to MG. MG made rather short work of LoVe. And so thanks for watching.